Ladies and gentlemen, looks like the Hsin drip marketing is... I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's already launched. It dropped 14 hours ago, and I've made my video. And the thing is, the unfortunate thing is that it seems like there's not a lot of actual hype surrounding the release of this. If you've actually gone ahead, you've taken a look at things like the views, the engagement, and perhaps most importantly of all, I just looked up Hsin marketing on YouTube, right? I just looked up Hsin marketing on YouTube, just to see how many other individuals in the space, content creators, like blah, 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 were reacting to it, right? Here's me. Cool. Appreciate that, YouTube. Thanks for uplifting me to the top. You're a top G. Then we got a leaks channel over here. So that's one. They don't actually show leaked footage. That's how they don't get DMCA'd. And then we got a guy who's looking completely faded in the thumbnail. And then he also looks completely drunk off his ass in the first couple seconds of the video. So it's like we got me, a leaker, and an alcoholic. And that's it. There's my fucking stream. That's my fucking stream that I'm on right now. You can see me right there. Maybe if I like stay here long enough, I'll start doing what I'm doing right now. You get it, right? There's nothing. Bro, and now I'm getting videos from like 4 days ago. We are fucked. I have never seen, like, bro, this is the Sentinel Resonator. This is like the iMyth, right? This is like the Cardathea. Holy moly, where is everybody, bro? And that's why we're making this video today, because I think one thing is very obvious to the player base right now. Wuthering Waves is currently in, unfortunately, one of the biggest droughts I think we've ever seen in the space. And all it really takes, right, is a quick little login. Good camera angle, by the way. It's like all it takes is a quick little login over here. Then you just go ahead and see what's actually available in the game, and you would recognize, good golly gee, the actual Wuwa update isn't really in a fantastic spot either, because there's nothing you can fucking do. Yeah, I've been intentionally not playing this event because I actually find it fun, but like if I do it, that's done. That's the highlight. That's a tutorial. That's a login event. And that's the only thing to play in the patch. Holy moly. What is that? Yuki-Oryu with the what was the 69 tier 1 subs? Okay, I'll take that, bro. Appreciate it. Yo, I'm glad you did 69 instead of 67. That 67 would have kind of pissed me off. Now you guys know how to piss me off. Like my hate watchers. Give me 67 subs and I'm going to be so mad. Oh, I'm angry. Hulk Matt. Yeah, that'll be me. That'll be me. So you know what to do to piss me off next time. Appreciate it, brother. All right, so that's what they're spending their money on, my viewers, because there's nothing worth spending money on in the game right now, because that's it. You got endgame resets. This thing is thankfully arriving soon, but you've got endgame resets and pretty much absolutely nothing else. And that's the phase of the game we're in, and that's where we've been at in this game since Qing Zhao arrived about 7 fucking days ago. Bro, it's been like this for 7 days. And as you can see, the damage on hype, the damage on marketing, the damage on engagement, it's already occurred. It's already there. And this has to be, just from like my personal metrics, my viewership, from what I've seen before when it comes to Wuwa, drip marketings like this and results like this, these are obviously terrible numbers for Smack. But it's not surprising because he's drunk as hell, right? But for me, these aren't great numbers for a Sentinel either. But then you see nobody else, because there's probably other React videos out there, but nobody's watching anything Wuwa related right now. There's probably more of them, right? But nothing's getting pushed up because like nothing in general is getting views, because even these ones aren't really getting views. And that's the situation, right? Because Kuro Games, I think, is in a rough patch. You are competing with Gamescom, right? Another conference, blah, blah, blah. You're competing with the release of, right, or the announcement of Notice Falls, which is currently taking over the space simply due to the fact that it's a Hoyoverse game and everyone's accusing it of, you can tell what's going on. Like, when this has 82k likes and it's showing, like, you pulling Radahn's greatsword and, like, Melania's katana and, like, the fingered path. Bro, they called it the fingered path. That's crazy, right? And so that's the discussion over. I'm sorry. That like, I bet half y'all didn't see this. Like, I bet half y'all did not see this on the initial thing. But like, this is low-key the funniest. This is the funniest part of the mock-up. It's literally the funniest part of the mock-up. And it's just hidden in the corner. Anyways, sorry. I'm like, oh. I'm heating up, brother. That shit was funny as hell. That's what people are focusing on right now. Because it is funny. It is a topic of discussion. And of course, Elden Ring was one of the biggest games that ever released in the history of gaming. And to see a game, right, that kind of feels like it's lifting off of it directly, that's what's taking over. And so Kuro really only has one opportunity over here across like this week and across like this pre-release to get the hype going. And that is with, as you probably guessed it, it's with some gameplay leaks for these fucking characters. Because Swo Ming, right, is probably going to be drip marketed tonight, knowing that Hsin got drip marketed in the last 14 hours. And we need to have like some sort of gameplay, some sort of leak, and of course, some of the craziest animations I think we probably have ever seen in the history of the game. Otherwise, bro, this might actually be the worst region in Wuwa history. And I will mean the worst region in Wuwa history because I will think it's actually worse than 1.3 and 1.4. Just in terms of like engagement, just in terms of like discussion and stuff like that. Because I think this is the worst we've ever done as a game before. And that's just the honest truth. And it's because of a lot of different reasons. And the biggest one, obviously, right, is the fact that there's nothing in game. And now there's also nothing to look forward to as well. Because when is Hsin coming out? When is 3.6? There's 15 days until this banner is gone. Then there's another 21-day banner after that. Do we want 37 more days? Like, imagine if there's no gameplay leaks. Do we want 37 more days of this? Of this? No. And there's no discussion being had elsewhere regarding the game. So now, let's go ahead. Let's start maybe diverging the discussion a little bit. And let's start talking about what we can expect. Because I think one thing is very, very, very clear. If Kuro doesn't release some sort of leak, some sort of gameplay, right? Just like the, well, we all remember this one from the past, right? If we don't get something like this for Hsin, this would be Kuro Games breaking a pattern. Because as far as I'm concerned, for every single Sentinel Resonator that has come out since Cardathea, and honestly, since like 2.0, they've been teasing character kits before release, they would be breaking one of the craziest patterns ever. And so that's just probably something that's not going to occur. And when did this reveal from Jeff Keighley over here actually come out? And this is where we're going to start getting a little bit analytical when it comes to the timing. Iman's drip marketing came out on New Year's Eve. Her drip marketing came out on New Year's Eve. Then the Jeff Keighley sort of like gameplay reveal came out 7 days later. I wouldn't take this sort of delay very seriously, and I do think that the Hsin leaks are probably going to be coming out in the next couple of hours or days because of this. This was during New Year's time, ladies and gentlemen. This was during fucking New Year's. And so it's a very, very, very likely chance this was delayed just for the holidays. Here's probably a more valid example of, well, where we can expect the timing over here. So, when was the Hiyuki post-Lament Anthropocene whatever, right? That was actually on March 24th. And she's one of the latest characters, right, that actually ended up getting her gameplay leaked, right? When did that occur? Let's take a look at this. That occurred on March 30th, which does seem later. But remember, wasn't this the extended gameplay leak? Wasn't this the extended one? You all remember, right? You all remember from back in the day that Kuro did a bit of like a two-parter when it came to Hiyuki and Denya. And I think the best way for me to show you guys all of that is to just, well, link you all to one of my past videos. Because I think that this is going to be the literal timeline that Kuro Games is going to do. Y'all remember this? Alrighty, the Xbox partner preview. Y'all remember that one? And that's actually where we got that little bit that was showing the ults of Denya and Hiyuki. Y'all remember that one? That's where we got the initial stuff at a baseline. And that was only on March 26, 2026. And remember where that Hiyuki drip was, March 24th, 2026. And so kind of like, look at this. We had a gameplay leak for these characters up to like 1 or 2 days after the drip marketing came out. It was a small one, but it was 1000% there. But then we got an extended one later. I think that Kuro needs to do something similar to this. This little segment of the Xbox showcase was just the 2 ults. That was it. There was like nothing else in here. That gave us like a little bit of something to like whet our appetite. And then we got the full Xbox sort of like gameplay reveal over here. And this is what I think we're going to be getting very, very, very soon. We all know that Tencent's Worlds of Play is occurring from the 27th to the 29th. What day is tomorrow? The 27th. The 27th is 2 days from now, which is going to be 2 days right after the drip marketing, which is kind of similar, right, to the timing for Hiyuki. Worlds of Play, right, is an event that Wuthering Waves will have a booth at. Doesn't it kind of make sense that there's maybe like a Worlds of Play trailer as well? A Worlds of Play maybe like little video that's going to get uploaded featuring the game, and then that's where we're going to get maybe an ult animation or two, something like this. Just to, again, whet our appetite before we get here. This shit is tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we'll make sure to upload this video today. This shit is tomorrow. Because this is the thing. This is why Woo-Wah is not at Gamescom. This is why all of these games down here are not at Gamescom. Because this is the same exact week as Gamescom. I think it actually stays at the same... I think it's occurring during the same time as Gamescom. I don't think Gamescom is over by the time this one starts. And so all these games are here and not there. You get what's going on, right? And so if you're losing the hype of Gamescom, right, because you're at this, you got to make up for it somewhere, right? That's what you would assume, right? And I think a mini reveal followed by a week later, a week from now, the extended one, right? That shows us everything when it comes to the characters, kind of like what we had for Denya, what we had for Hiyuki. I think we're getting that for, of course, right? Not her, but her. And of course, Suo Ming on the side as well. So to me, I feel like this is definitely going to be the approach that Kuro takes. And I think it's going to be the one that makes the most sense. Because it gives you sort of like 2 opportunities to build up hype. And my honest opinion was, this is the best way they've ever like leaked the character kits before. Showing 1 or 2 animations up front, then a week later, the whole kit. And that was how they did the anniversary. Because guess what, guys? When I look up Hiyuki and Denya over here, look at that. There were 2 videos, and they both got insane views. And that also means there's an insane number of players and insane number of viewers interacting with all of this marketing pre-release to hype it up even further. And that is exactly what Wuthering Waves needs right now. Multiple injections to bring the game back from the hell that it's currently in right now. And so I'm expecting this within like the next like 24, 36 hours. Some video posted online that we're ready to go again on. And so now, this is going to be the last bit, and this is going to be the one that's going to require like a little bit of speculation, but I think everyone sort of already had the same general thoughts that I've had. What's this? When it comes to her kit and what we can expect the Infinity Castle stuff. Right, we all sort of like know what's going on over here. We see Hsin in the background. That's where Suo Ming is. She's kind of like, she looks like she's maybe like trapped in here or something. We're definitely going to have all of those like different like moving parts, that sort of vibe, right? I think that's very, very, very clear. And what we also know, right, is that when it comes to this whole like moving castle vibe, all of that, where is it coming from? Well, you got to take a look at this. It's all inside of a cube. Yeah, which is interesting on its own. And it's kind of like fun to like take this and like play it backwards. And it looks like you're going like inside of it, right? And then you can kind of like see how deep it is, how like expansive it is, how ridiculous it kind of like looks as a whole. And that's where Hsin is, right? You see her in there among all of the different buildings. And that's kind of, right, like literally a one-to-one of what you... It is a one-to-one of what you see right over here. Almost, yeah, it wouldn't be... It's exactly the fucking same. It's just Suo Ming is there. So obviously, Rover and her are gonna, like, go into, like, that little capsule or cube or whatever the hell it is, right? And I imagine it's gonna be a big part of her kit as well. However, there's also this other interaction that was had between Hsin and, well, another playable character. Y'all remember this bad boy, right? Yeah, y'all remember this section, right? Where, like, you had Soy Soy having a bit of a conversation with Hsin, and then Hsin turns into, like, big mode, right? That's a really important thing to recognize, is that she shows up, like, really big, and she looks a little bit menacing. And so, well, where does that lead us into? Yeah, that's a second form, bro. So I think most people are under the implication that this smaller form, right, the one that we see in the 3.6 story, like, it actually has, like, a rendered model and stuff, shows up next to Qing Zhao, right? Maybe it's like a puppet or something. And then this is the real form, right? And then that's a real form behind her. I think that's kind of like the obvious implication over here. I don't think it's very surprising. Otherwise, I don't know how the fuck she got so big, right? And that's obviously the big one. I'm going to think the big one is right here. I mean, I think that's a natural conclusion most people came to, right? It's a shot right from the story. But then there's something else that Big Hsin does, right? Obviously, she summons, like, red lightning and shit, so we all kind of, like, know about that. What else does she do? Huh. Oh, she does a little bit of that as well. Yeah, she just transforms into the whole ass fox in the middle of her kit. And so this is obviously one of the implications of this. I think that one of her 3 ultimates, maybe she'll have 3 ultimates. I think she has 2 minimum. I think in one of her 2 ultimates, she transforms into a fox. Yeah. I think one of them, she turns big, and then the second one, she turns into a fox. And then this is like, that's what I imagine what occurs. First one is her turning into the big form, and then the second ult, you get the fox. And if that's what we end up getting in the reveal, guys, like, that's the sort of, like, implication, that's the sort of clue, I think it's going to be insane. Because you know why? It's not like they're spoiling anything. Because she's already seen doing it in the fucking story, and she was seen doing this in the first quest of Meng Zhou. And so, yeah, very excited because of the implications over here, right? This could be, gameplay-wise, cinematics-wise, one of the craziest kits ever. But unfortunately, the lead up to it, the drip marketing, all of that, it's not really conducive to a crazy, insane gameplay reveal. Do you want to know why? Because it's very simple. Kuro has fucked up the gameplay reveals in the past. And ironically, or unironically, the last fuck up was literally at the start of Meng Zhou. Because you all remember this, right? Tatsuhiro! I might get canceled for that, but that sounded kind of cool. The Tekken guy. Y'all remember when, like, this shit came out and then nobody cared? Yeah, I remember when this shit came out and nobody cared. Because that's what happened. This shit came out and nobody cared. Because there wasn't proper preparation done. Because nobody gave a fuck about Yang Gang, right? And then we were basically told, hey, like, let's get super excited over, like, Yang Gang, bro. That didn't work. And we all know that 3.5 low-key killed the game. We know that 3.5 low-key killed the game. Still got more views than the Hiyuki reveal? Is that even true? 2.6 million. You know what? You're not actually wrong, but that might be because it was on fucking Xbox. Yeah, you might not be. It might be because it was on the main Xbox channel. Yeah, I think that's why. And this was posted on YouTube as well, so I think that's where it, like, the views get shared on that, so I don't think that really counts. But, like, yeah, if you want, like, Jeff Keighley, for example, in exchange, yeah, no, this one got, like, way more views. Yeah, that would actually got, like, 5 million, like, 500K more views. And this is the thing. You could just take a look at all the metrics and shit as well, right? You just take a look at all the metrics and shit as well. Yeah, Yang Gang did not do well as a character. Yeah, Yang Gang just didn't do well as a character. And that's the point. They leaked gameplay for a unit, right? That nobody was excited for. And that nobody was really hyped for. Because the proper hype wasn't built up. And so this felt wasted. This felt like we did, like... This is like Kuro using their ult. And you missed. I hope you realize that. For a gacha company, leaking your character kit like this is like using your ult. And they missed the crit. Exactly. That's probably the best way to describe it. And this is the thing. Taking a 2-part release like this, like they did for Hiyuki, to build up the hype in 2 possible ways, that is like not missing the crit. That's like building up your forte so that your crit rate is 100%. And that's what I'm saying Kuro Games desperately needs to fucking do. Because the game is kind of in, like, I want to be realistic with you here. This seems like the least hyped Sentinel release in the history of the game. I think Jinsei was more hype. I'm not joking. I think Jinsei had more hype than this one. Because how else do you explain just, like, what is going on here, bro? Like, how else do you explain 14 hours after her drip marketing that, like, the engagement in the space looks... I'm getting videos from 2 months ago that have 34 views. We need the gameplay. Please.